Alright, and welcome to another episode of Clash of Clans War Recaps from DJ Gamer here. We're looking at a huge victory margin here, as you can see from the title, and I'll go ahead and explain how that happened. But we can certainly start off with taking a look at the first attack I have to show by Demo here. Demo is a new Town Hall 7, but ended up getting matched up just below this base for some reason. Yeah, the matchup was a little weird this time, and we were getting worried at first, especially assuming that these guys were going to attack, pretty much as we do. In this case, they only ended up attacking about 8 or 9 times. They only ended up gaining about 8 stars total, and that was only from 3 bases. So the other guys really didn't make any effort at all, and so that made it totally easy for us. Still, we only ended up 6 stars short of a perfect war against them on offense. Not that we're really expecting a perfect war so much, but here's what happens when wall breakers come in and they don't really have any new compartments to open up. They're just going to go down the line, and they're just going to make the one wall open up bigger. Meanwhile, the Giants and Wizards and Healers were all Demo needed to go ahead and get everything taken out, given the very few defenses this base had. And it was kind of weird because when you looked at this guy's base and as the farming base, they had all of their stuff set up. So we thought we were going to get hustled with this one. And so, yeah, it was kind of weird that they left this as a war base. But Demo gets 3 stars nonetheless. Alright, next up we have one of my bases going at it. I've got a Town Hall 8 to deal with 3 air defenses. Another good practice for the update that had just come out with adding the extra 3rd air defense to Town Hall 7. So I treated this one with pretty much the same amount of difficulty. So yeah, as this one goes on, I also did want to mention that, yeah, as far as the lack of effort they had in the war, we still did a pretty good job and stayed on top of making sure that we gained as many stars as we could. One of the previous wars we had recently was kind of similar, where the other team had hardly attacked at all, but then basically in the last half hour they started rushing in a bunch of attacks, but it was too little too late for them. So I was kind of interested that we would get another matchup like this where, yeah, they start a war with us, but then they don't really want to fight it through. It was kind of weird to me. So yeah, with this base, basically a mass dragon attack, had a few hog riders in the clan castle to help take out air defenses. And so, yeah, kind of straightforward for me right now. I am getting kind of close to maxing out my Town Hall 7 base, so sooner or later I'll probably start dipping into some Town Hall 8 strategies. And hopefully I'll get a few more to show off from my clanmates until then. In the meantime, yeah, I also wanted to mention that Duckwalla also did a recap of this war. I tried not to include all the battles I wanted to with this one, just because he had already went ahead and covered them in his video. And there will be a link in the description to go ahead and see his for the double coverage of this war. And also, since he got 100 subscribers, he went ahead and made a more special version of his war recap from it. Introduces one of our clanmates as well. Okay, so yeah, this basically gets taken care of here with the last couple build hearts being done. It's another 3-star victory. I can't say it was very difficult, especially when there's no pressure from their offenses. Alright, next up we have Chris, our guest fighter from Bendecos clan, going up against their number 7. Basically at this point we had done well enough with the top guys that he ended up aiming lower simply for cleanup purposes. So he was able to go with a Gola Loon attack. Another thing that happened with this war and the lack of effort from the opposing side is that very few of the clan castles on the other side had more than 6 archers in them, and that was about it. So you can see how Chris didn't need any poison spells this time around. We didn't need to worry about any clan castle lures to speak of, really, because a few archers are easy enough to take out. So in this case, it allowed Chris to pack on another haste spell instead. And that's pretty much how we adapted a lot of our fights to the battle. We didn't have to worry about that poison spell, so you might as well throw something else in, like an earthquake or a haste spell, to go ahead and get things taken care of. So also in this case, yeah, he gets the balloons coming out here to follow up with the lava hounds, and does a pretty good job of taking out as much air defenses as he can before the air troops go coming in. So Chris definitely did a good job with his kill squad on this one. Since he aimed a bit lower, the things like the expos weren't as powerful. These ones were only level 1. Definitely made things a little bit easier on him for the battle, but he still played it quite proficiently, knew when to place the spells and where to place the troops and with what timing, so that it maximizes effect. And just to make sure that it wasn't too easy of a pushover that you get overconfident, he did a good job of not getting overconfident with that. So he definitely has a lot of practice and more, so he knows better than to do that. Something you got to kind of get worried about a little bit sometimes is if you end up on a big streak of wins or you're doing really well individually in wars, is you definitely want to make sure that you're not trying to overstep how far you can go, because if you start aiming higher for other stars, then you can end up not getting them. You don't get as many 3-star attacks, and that's really what's crucial to a team victory. So good job on this one, Chris, and let's move on to the next one. All right, next up, I'm showing an attack, one of the ones that wasn't quite as successful just because this is kind of what we had to deal with opponents lately. Last couple of wars here, I've been matched up with Town Hall 11s, the ability with rush bases, though. However, yeah, it was kind of a different story in being able to deal with him because, for one thing, is I hate Inferno Towers. I hate dealing with them as a Town Hall 9. Yeesh. I can't wait for Town Hall 10 to take care of those things, but in the meantime, I'm like, oh man, why do I gotta fight these things? So nonetheless, since their expos were all pointed at the ground, I went for a Golaloon attack myself here, and we'll see how it goes here. Not quite a 3-star attack, but you'll kind of see why. First off, I start with the kill squad, get things taken care of, but they got picked off a little quickly here. They still managed to get a lot of one side handled. Then I get the lava loons coming in at one end where a couple of the air defenses are. And then I'm about to place them at the top right here as well to go ahead and start with those air defenses. And I'm figuring once the air defenses are all taken out, it should be kind of smooth sailing for the balloons. But one thing I didn't count on entirely was that Inferno Tower there, that was a single target one, ended up being able to take out things like the lava hounds pretty quickly. So the balloons end up converging here. Eventually they do end up getting enough damage done so that they can get in there, get that Inferno Tower knocked out. One thing I kind of did out of a small mistake was getting that heal spell down before the Inferno Tower was taken out. Otherwise that would have been far more effective. So at this point the lava hounds are pretty much done with. The pups are trying to do their damage here. The balloons coming in, trying to get the rest of these defenses taken care of, but the rest of the defenses are still just enough spread out that I could have a problem with that. So at this point I'm looking at this, I'm thinking, man, hopefully I get at least 2 stars out of this. And the damage is there, so I definitely have the first star with at least 50%. It's just a matter of being able to get into the town hall, which is heavily protected by those elixir storages, so the lava pups, just a matter of time. And hopefully they can get the surrounding buildings taken out just enough that a few of them start aiming in on that town hall. So at this point, kind of sped things along here in the rate of the battle to get it faster. Yeah, one of these lava hounds actually didn't get taken out quickly enough by the Inferno Tower before the Inferno Tower was taken out. Otherwise, with those extra pups, I probably would have ended up getting enough damage to possibly even 3-star the base. Unfortunately, that didn't happen there, so we got about 40 seconds to go here. The lava pups are starting to make their way in here, and it looks like the balloons are going to help, but then they follow the way to the Barbarian King, and they don't end up actually getting in there, and the Barbarian King draws them out farther away enough so that they don't even go for the Town Hall at the end. And it's coming down right to the last second, just a sliver of hit point left on that Town Hall, but just not quite enough. So it was a real bummer for me, getting an 89%, but only 1 star. But I gotta say, not too bad with the Town Hall 9 versus the Town Hall 11, even if it is rushed. Okay, so for my final replay, I'll show off how our number 19 Gorbles took on their bottom base. Now, this one's a Town Hall 7. Gorbles is a Town Hall 6, so it was definitely going to be a little bit challenging for him. It's one of those situations where Gorbles got kind of mismatched in terms of Town Hall levels and stuff, and occasionally that happens. Usually in war, when we're getting matched up, we end up with at least 3 or 4 bases that might have a disadvantage or a good advantage in the level of Town Hall that you're going up against. Usually that'll signify either you have more or fewer defenses to have to worry about. Sometimes the leveling up of defenses can end up being a factor. In this case, it was definitely a challenge by default for Gorbles to come in, but Gorbles is a pretty capable fighter here. Is very good at getting the giants in there to make sure that they're in there before any of the other troops are, so that they take the attention of the defenses. Puts out a couple of those hog riders that get thrown in, and make sure to take out some more of those so that the golems, or not the golems, the giants end up kind of staying in the similar area, and they don't have to spread around too much because they're just slow to move. In the meantime, while the hogs are taking out defenses left and right, the troops that are falling in right behind them are just going ahead and taking out those ancillary structures. The giants still moving in to the other section where the defenses are. Again, they've got some backup behind them, and they're complementing each other pretty well. And then you got a couple of straggling troops there to help stick around in the middle there to keep other things taken out too. So that's pretty much what made it so that Gorbles was able to get the victory. I mean, at first when I'm looking at this, I'm thinking, this might be tough for him. But then by the end, I'm thinking, man, he made this look easy. And so by the end of it all, just had those storages in the middle to take out. And that's pretty much the whole story of that one. So definitely a good job by Gorbles on that part. I always like seeing when you can 3-star a base that's above your Town Hall level. It's pretty impressive. And so with that, that's bringing the war to a close here. We ended up with a total score of 54-8. I've got a few of the war stats posted up here pretty shortly. Also, as a note, this is our 66th win. And this is actually our 11th win in the last 14 wars. The total destruction, as you can see, is 93.5% to 17.55%. So yeah, total advantage there. And this is what happens when you go up a clan that doesn't try. So yeah, hopefully we get some more of those. But yeah, it's pretty rare to happen, even though we had a couple of wars like this lately where the opponents didn't really challenge us too much on their side of the offenses. We definitely made sure that we did our job so that even if they did, it was going to be difficult for them to win. So I'm very proud of our clan for winning again and doing a pretty good job. And that wraps it up for this one. We're looking forward to also getting, hopefully, to our clan level 7 around the time we get our 70th war. As long as we win the next 3 in a row, those things will happen at the same time. So hopefully that happens. In the meantime, thanks for watching again. I look forward to bringing you some more content.